Hi, this is Andy, and I'm doing a little video on how to do the double apex garage door unit for the NBQ platform Mk7 Golfs. So I have a Golf R, and first step that we're going to end up doing is actually teaching the unit to the garage. Now I have a smart learn system, so the system's going to be, the learning process is different depending on your actual garage door. This is how it's done on mine. So right now I have this little button right here. So I'm just going to push it and see how the little light turns on. And the next step is actually to put in the battery and power this on. Okay, so now the battery's installed. We're going to hold the program button until the LED turns on, as you can see. So this is back onto program. Then I'm going to push this button until it learns. There we go. Now if you heard the little click sound, the light turned on and off. So now I can hit the program button again. So if I hit this, garage door opens and closes. Okay, so I really wanted to go over what the kit includes for the garage door opener, and I'm just spreading it out onto the table here because that's kind of how I like to do things. I like to visualize it before I'm going into the install process to make sure I know everything I'm doing ahead of time. So the only thing I'm really learning on the fly is how to remove the trim. There are black and white instruction pictures in here. Color pictures are available on the website. So that's good. I'm probably going to be rolling out a laptop or viewing the pictures on my phone while I install this. One thing you'll notice though is that these kits are slightly different as far as how they connect as from the website. So I wanted to kind of focus on that as well. First, they include the battery that you need to do in step one, which I've already filmed. I don't know if I'm going to put it in the beginning or this in the beginning ahead of time. So put the battery in, program the unit first outside of the car, and then take the battery out, because you don't want to have that battery in there once we give power to the unit. So that's going to be very important. Now, the unit obviously is closed right now. You have screws and like a little screwdriver and ties to fasten them. And what we're going to end up doing is hooking up. Fortunately, these are color coordinated. So this one's going to go here and hook into the fuse box. Now this is what's different. On the website they have a different connector. This is going to be a little bit easier just screwing it in place. I actually think I'm going to like this better. If for any reason I need to remove it, I think this is going to make me very happy. Okay, and then this is going to be mounted on the side of, so driver side on the left here. And this is going to be routed underneath into the fuse box that's located right underneath the access panel on the driver's side. Now this cable is much longer, and this is going to need to be routed all the way down to where the switch is going to be located. So let's see if I can do that one-handed. Okay, so this goes right underneath the dash, underneath the trim, down to where the switch is going to be. So here's the switch. I got the one button. I only have one garage, so one button. Now this little piece here, if it focuses, okay, is actually going to go into the connector that this plugs to on the bottom. So you're going to have to pop open the connector that comes with the vehicle, and we're going to slit this pin in there and then close up the connector. So that's the little modification we have to do, but it shouldn't be too hard. Those usually come apart pretty easily with a flathead screwdriver. They are plastic, so I will need to be gentle. The other thing I've picked up that I don't have pictured here because I'm hoping I don't need to use it, but I have it just in case, is a plastic trim removal kit that I just got from the auto parts store just a second ago. I got a little bit of a sticker shock on it, but it ended up not being as bad as what it said $30 for the entire kit, which I was like, whoa, I am not going to open up these unless I absolutely need to for returning purposes. But when I actually got to the register, it was only like $15, which is reasonable, I guess. All right, so we're going to go into the install now. Okay, so now let's start removing some trim. I put some masking tape here on the bottom just in case I actually need to use the plastic trim removal set or this to get out this bottom piece later. I also put some on the bottom of the door just in case. We will need to pull off this piece here, so you're going to start from the bottom. It takes a little bit of force, but not that much actually. It kind of freaks me out because it pops out, and it's actually got these, if you look at the bottom, 3 on the bottom and then 1 on each side. By pulling on this on the left side first, I actually got this top one, the bottom, and the middle one all in one pull, and then the rest came out with a slight tap on the other side, much less force. Alright. Move the compartment door liner. There's a little tab on this side. If you just pull it this way and then pull up, the rest of the whole liner comes out pretty easily after that. So I finally got the little compartment in the middle out. I did have to use the tool. Probably the most effective was this one, getting up in there and popping it out like that way. And so I finally got it out, and it's over to the side. You can't get it out without the shifter being moved down. So once I got it popped up a little bit, I put the car in, I turned it on, put it in reverse, and pulled it out. Problem with the DSG is when the car's off, you can't get the car out of park. So that's something I have to kind of learn on the fly. So yes, the car is, I had to turn it on after I popped it off just so I can move the shifter back and pull it up. So that little compartment box is out now. So I detached the USB cable just to give it a little bit more room. I put it to the side. Next step is going to actually to remove 4 screws. We got this one on each side, and this one here on this side, and this side. And then we're going to lift the trim up. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do next, and I'll get back. Okay, this was not fun. I finally got the center console up. It uses way more force than you probably are comfortable with. You start in the back here and start lifting up. This is just the plastic trim. If you start pulling it from the top, it comes off pretty easily. But you have to work your way all the way down. And I've disconnected the connectors for the cigarette lighter, the parking brake, both sides of the switches. This one on the connector for the lights on the shifter, and the starter, which was actually the hardest one here. Not really supposed to be, or which one is the starter one? Yeah, that's the starter button. It's not actually really all that hard. It's just confusing when you're looking at it. I think you have to take off this whole piece here. So yeah, this pulled off. Next step will be to actually disassemble this inside part. So probably the easiest way to do it is actually just to lift it up, and you can see under there a lot easier. All right. Okay, so you can actually orient the shift boot to slide out here, and this whole piece actually comes out, so you can actually work on it on like a workbench or something much easier. Okay, so according to instructions, we're actually going to do the wiring next. So we need to pull this trim piece off, get behind here, put those away. So we're going to actually open this up by pressing in here, and we're going to move this trim piece down here. Alright, so I'm going to get those out and I'll get back to you. So there's one T20 Torx screw in here, and once you remove that, that trim pulls down easily. This you push in, pull down, and then slide it out once they've detached from the top. And then this is the top trim piece here that removes pretty easily. Okay, so now I have routed the wires. So I just started from here on both of them. We need these two connectors out here because we're going to mount that garage door opener here. So I have the fuse one dangling here, and if you can see in the back here, I have it routed. To kind of make it easier, I actually, not according to the instructions, I uninstalled this screw, and then there's another one vertically here. And just to give myself some wiggle room on this, and I fed it through, and you can't actually see it at all. But it comes out, and it's actually this cable here. And it's currently, okay, I'm stuck under something over here. Here. So we're going to actually open up this pin connector and add it into there. Alright. Now, if you can see on the bottom here, there's these two little clips. I've slightly pulled them away with the screwdriver. Really small flathead. Let's see if I can zoom in. Here. Focusing on it. Okay, and then we're going to remove the little sheath that's covering this so that we can insert the pin. Okay, so now I've inserted the pin. My instructions say to insert it into pin 4. So you slide it into there. If you look in the top here, you'll see a 5 on the top right, and then I believe 10 on the top left. So the bottom is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So insert it into pin 4 and then close it up. And that's it. There, nice little snap. We're good to go. That pin is in there. Now we can start swapping out the switch and then reassemble everything. Okay, so now we're going to disassemble this switch so that we can replace this piece here. So there's these little tabs on the bottom here that we're going to need to pry open. And then that'll disassemble this piece here so that we can actually remove this switch. So I'm going to get those off and swap out the switch. Okay, so just to show you, there are 6 tabs in total. There's 3 on each side, so one here, and one here. And if you just slightly go along in like a pattern, it comes out very easily. So now we have access to our switch, and this is the one that we're going to be removing now. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, so I believe there's these little tabs are holding it in, so let me get this out and I'll go over it. Okay, so it's pretty easy to pop out. If you actually start from here and then undo the 4 tabs, 2 on each side, it pops out pretty easily. So we're going to slap the new one in with our garage button. Flip it back over. Make sure. Okay, all the tabs are out. So then we're going to just replace this piece right here. Actually, it goes underneath. I'll do it from this side. And it snaps right in. Okay, so next step would be to reinstall the trim. The directions say not to install the Torx screws yet, so I haven't done that yet. The hardest part of getting this back in place is that there's a little connector in here. You'll see it when you get it off. That has to go in through a little hole in here, and that's kind of a PITA to get in while you're with this kind of closed. So I imagine this install is a lot easier on a manual transmission where you can just have the parking brake and slide this in the middle. But alas, it can be done, just requires a little bit of bending. Fortunately, nothing has broken so far. And now to connect the wiring. So in here it says to connect this to a T30 Torx, which I don't see one, so I'll probably just install it here. This is going to be the ground for the unit. So as long as it's connected to a good ground, you're fine. So I think that's where I'll be connecting it, is actually in this back one here, because the picture shows a Torx 30 and I don't see one back there. So that's where I'm going to mount that little Y connector to. Okay, so after looking at the instructions, they actually have the picture from here, and that actually is the same bolt that they say to remove. It is a T30, so I was able to remove that and install that little Y connector there. And then now we need to remove the fuse. So this is going to be very on car as far as what's there. We're looking for the fourth one from the left, so that 10 amp fuse next to the 7.5. So I'm going to remove that, put it inside this little add a fuse right there in that slot, and then we'll plug it back in. It's actually the fifth fuse from the left. So you have the 7.5, a 10, and then there's another 10. So I've added that to the add a fuse. And here are my two connectors that are just going to go right up to the thing, and I think we should be done. Just putting everything back together. So I've now mounted, tested, and hooked up all the wires. It is all good. So I'm just going to be putting everything back in place where it's supposed to go. There's only 4 more screws to go. As soon as you replace this, you can do it as long as you have everything routed. My guess is just so you can tidy everything up if you need to remove anything. But that's like such an easy step, is removing the screws. Ripping everything out is the hard part. So yeah, I'm just gonna tidy up and everything works. So car in the on position, push this button, and you can hear the garage door closing behind me. So I'm happy because now I get to remove my garage door opener from there, and I don't have to have rattling anymore. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and have a good day.